It's time for bookkeeping, beer, and BS. I have partnerships, a few of them.
Sure.
And a bunch of my bookkeeping clients have partnerships, and I'm seeing them like more and more and more prevalently. And I'm fortunate in that mine were kind of like set up before I got here. When you start bringing business partners on, let's say you're an LLC taxed as an S Corp, and all of a sudden you bring a business partner on and I don't know, you're 60-40, whatever it is. This term keeps coming up called owner's guaranteed payments. And I've like looked at it and I've read stuff on it, and I still don't think I fully understand like when that really comes into play and how it applies. But I know one of our mutual clients kind of got burned by it. I know I have in Kahuna Window Cleaning, my partner Andy, we pay him an owner's guaranteed payment. He gets like a check to his bank account. He had to set up a whole separate LLC, and then we have a separate payroll just for his separate LLC to actually like cut him a paycheck. And I'm just like, man, it seems like a lot of dicking around to like pay a dude. Can you talk a little bit about what the partnership does, how owners guarantee? So this is like the worst question ever, and I apologize. So feel free to ask for clarification, and I don't promise I don't have good clarification for you. Right. But what I want to like try to get into is, what does the partnership do from like a tax standpoint? Does it change? Like, is it automatically taxed as an S Corp or something like that? And then how are you supposed to pay yourself in that case? Like, what is an owner's guaranteed payment? Do we have to do it? Why do we have to do it? How does that come into play?
Well, I'll compare it. We've been talking a lot about S Corp. So an S Corp, you have to make that election. If you're talking about an LLC with multiple partners, it's by default taxed as a partnership. So pretty much
when you say taxed as a partnership, is that the same as being taxed as an S Corp, or is it different than being taxed?
No, it's different completely. Okay. You actually have to file, instead of the 1120S, you have to file a 1065, form 1065 for a partnership. And then there's a whole...
Now, what if? No, finish your thought, and then I'll give you my what if.
Yeah. And there's a whole lot of stuff that we can get into with partnerships and S Corps that honestly is outside the scope of this conversation. Then a lot of things come into play as far as you have to make sure you keep track of proper basis of each partner. Just it affects the taxability of anything that goes to the partners and how losses get recognized and things of that sort. So so just to go back to your question, as far as again, I'll go back and compare the S Corp. When you're a partner within an S Corp, you're actually not, you're considered an employee of the company. All right. So you get paid a wage. So that whole reasonable salary that we were talking about, it comes into play.
That's me right now. That's me right now. Is I'm an employee. We have an S Corp holding company.
Sure.
And there's technically no employees of that. It's just like an investment company, and I'm an employee of like our main sub business. But but I think our tax guy like rolls me up into the S Corp level.
Sure. Now with with LLC that has not made that election, then they're taxed as partnerships. Now guaranteed payments. We don't think about this in the same way we think about W-2 wages. Actually, guaranteed payments is first of all something that goes in your operating agreement. It has to be mutually agreed upon with partners. It can come in many forms. It's not like a requirement necessarily unless it's actually outlined as such. But those payments actually go on a K-1, kind of like you would see. You get your K-1 with your S Corp. You also get a partnership K-1 with a partnership.
Is that different? Is that owner's guaranteed payment? It sounds like it can be specific to a specific owner. Like if you're partners with 3 people, but only one is the operator, like that guy might get an owner's guaranteed payment, the other 2 might not.
Exactly.
Is that always an expense on the profit and loss, or is it out of net income like a distribution?
No, it can come out of the profit and loss.
Okay. And my next follow-up question would be, the way I have always seen it is it goes out as like a gross sum. Like payroll taxes are not withheld from it. Payroll taxes are the responsibility of that owner that got the guaranteed payment. So it's like it's a mashup of a distribution and a wage. It's like gross, no payroll taxes are taken out, but it leaves the P&L instead of the balance sheet. But then that owner that got that guaranteed payment, this is a terrible way to say it, but it's just where my mind's going. That owner that got the guaranteed payment still owes the payroll taxes on it, in addition to all the income taxes that they get from all of their whatever stuff.
Yeah. So I would think about it in terms of, think of a sole proprietorship. It kind of like similar taxation in the sense that you have to pay those self-employment taxes with a partnership.
Yeah.
So yes, that's how you would basically treat it. Again, this is a partnership is a pass-through entity, so that goes onto your 1040.
Does it generally make sense to do a partnership that's taxed like an S corp or taxed like an LLC, or is that just super it depends type of question?
It is it depends type of question, but just to kind of clarify, an LLC is with multiple members by default taxed as a partnership.
Taxed as a partnership.
Right. So then you have to make that S corp election, and again, it depends. I go back to, again, this is outside the scope of this conversation, but there's a lot of flexibility in the way that you can pay partners that you otherwise couldn't accomplish with other entity types. So that's why partnership can be an attractive option. But if your main goal is to minimize on those self-employment taxes, then the S corp would make sense. But that's a simplistic answer. Of course, you can really delve into the nitty-gritty.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, business nerd? Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you learned a heck of a lot watching that episode. Do me a favor, subscribe right down here. And if you really like what you saw, you got more goods right here. Check out this one, or check out this one, and do this. Go subscribe. Appreciate you. Work smarter, work harder, go earn yourself some pride. Catch you on the next one.